So I wanted to get on here and talk about an observation that I've made and that I've seen for quite some time. I mean, it's something that we all have seen and noticed how men of other races, they are with women who match their look. When I see these men on social media, these Hispanic men, these Asian men, these Middle Eastern men, white men, their women match them. Their women look like them. These men are proud to stand next to their women. These men support their women. These men are leaders to their women. They are men to their women. But why don't I see the same when it comes to black men, to African American men? How come these black men seem to gravitate towards the other races of women, but don't seem to include their own race of women? How come you don't see these black men uplifting and venerating their women in the same way that you see these Hispanic men putting their women on a pedestal, promoting their women, making their women beautiful? How come you don't see that with black men? Black men seem to have just given up completely. Black men just don't love themselves. They seem to want to wipe themselves out of existence. They seem to want to breathe themselves out of the planet. But they don't think about that. They don't care about that. Because it's like Chrissy said, these men are not community minded. So in their mind, they're not thinking about preserving the black race or preserving their look, their appearance, their phenotype, preserving their culture. They are infatuated and hypnotized by European beauty and non-black beauty. Because we all know, of course, that we've been conditioned to love European standards of beauty. That's what we have been programmed to do growing up. But we are adults now. At least the people who I am addressing are adults now. And we have plenty of information out here. We have plenty of resources to find people who look like you, who are beautiful. Okay, growing up before the internet era and before the world being so small how it is now, if all you saw on television were white women, you can get online and look for women who are black and beautiful. If you want to stay in your bubble of ignorance and you know, because you love white women and it's all that you like, then you're choosing to stay in that place. It's an excuse. There is no excuse for you to be self-hating. There's no excuse for you to not find women who are your counterpart as attractive. There's no excuse. If you are a black man and you don't find black women attractive, you are self-hating. If you are a black man and you don't love black women, you are self-hating. I'm sorry. That's just how I see it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a fuck how you met this white woman. I don't give a fuck where you saw her. I don't care. I'm looking at you sideways. I can't help it. How could you be with these people after all that they have done historically? That's how I look at it. Collectively, these people, Europeans, white people, they don't give a fuck about us. I'm sorry, they don't. Collectively, they don't give a fuck about us. If they did, we wouldn't be going through the shit we're going through in the year 2018. And in these interracial relationships that you see, where it's a white woman and a black man, you never see these white women around other black women. You never see these white women with the black women of the black men who they are with. You usually see the black men with the white women's family. You see the black man with 20 to 30 white people. He's only in pictures with other white people on his Instagram page. I always look at that and I always side eye those kinds of white women. These white women who do not have female friends who are black. A lot of these black men are okay with being with white women who have no type of interest in black culture or black people, period. These black men want to inject themselves into the white world. It seems like a lot of these black men, they want to never look down at their black hands. It's like if they wake up and they don't look at their black hands or look at their reflection in the mirror, they're living the life of a white man. I feel like that's what a lot of black men want. They want to live as a white man without being white. Or since they're not going to go through the extremes as a lot of black women do who bleach their skin and put, weaves and all this stuff to look like white women. Oh no, they're not going to be extreme like that. They're going to be extreme as in marrying white women and producing babies with them and bleaching their DNA out. Okay, they rather bleach their DNA genetically instead of topically or aesthetically or on the surface. Okay, they are doing this shit generationally. And these black men then want to say that their mixed children are black. And say I have an issue with that. Now, this video seems to be going everywhere, but hey, that's what it is. Welcome to the King's Table, honey. We're going to be discussing a lot of shit here. Shit that I don't like. So yeah. So I have an issue with these black men who now want to call their mixed children black. It's like, no, honey. Your child is not black. Simply because of of the fuckery that you have created with this white woman. And because you chose her because you hate the way that you look and that you don't want to produce a child who looks like you. That's why your child isn't black. Now, if a mixed person who has kinky hair, because I feel if you're mixed and you have straight hair, silky hair, or type 2 or 3 hair that's silky and loose curls, and you're light skinned and you have blue or green eyes, you're not black to me. But if you are a mixed person with type 4 hair and you embrace your kinky Afro texture type 4 hair, then I think I'll consider you black. To me, for you to be mixed, you have to have kinky hair or you have to be brown skin and have a decent amount of melanin in your skin for me to consider you black. And your hair has to be in the kinky realm. You have to have black features. If you got silky hair and light eyes and you're pale and you look racially ambiguous, you're not black. So if you're mixed, it's a case by case basis if you can also consider yourself black. It depends. Now, back to these self hating black men. You have chosen to be sleep. You have chosen to turn your back on black women. You have made a conscious decision. You have an obsession with lighter skin. A lot of these black men just have an obsession with these white and Latino women. These non-black Latino women. Because we all know that Latinos, they're in all races, but I'm specifically talking about the non-black Latina or white Latina or racially ambiguous European inclining Latinas. These black men tend to chase these women and be in spaces where these women are. And also these women also go and chase these men too, because yes, the men of the races where these women are from, yes, they elevate them and promote them and all that. But a lot of times these women, they fetishize black men because they know that black men put them on a pedestal in a way that they don't their own women. See, so they want this black man because he puts down his own woman and will replace her with another woman from a different race. So these women of a different race, they think that shit is cute and they feel superior than they would with their own man who likes women who look like her. You know what I'm saying? So it's not special. But to the black man, this woman is special. So she likes that. And I feel like that's why these women kind of gravitate towards these men because they will put them in a position or in a pedestal that they wouldn't put their own black women in. So these women like that shit. And I want to go back to the whole history of it. You know, it's like as a black man, it's like wow, white women throughout history have caused your death, have caused your murder. These women have benefited off of white privilege, white supremacy. They don't understand you. They don't understand your DNA. They don't understand your culture. They don't understand your spirit. But somehow you feel it's okay to lay with them. You completely abandoned your community. It's like black people are in a special position in this country because of the small numbers, because they're only 13%, because of how they were brought here, because of the history. And it's like black men have completely let down that 13%, that population. You have completely abandoned, collectively abandoned it. And you have and you wanted to infuse and force yourself into the whites, you into the white space. You want to it's like that melting pot thing. You want to completely like phase yourself out so that you blend out with the white. You want to go into the white and blend it out so that the white stays there. It's kind of like in Mexico, because you know in Mexico, the average Mexican has about 7% African DNA. So that means that the African DNA from slavery times, it melted into the Mexican population. And a lot of Mexicans who have 7% African, they don't look African. They look indigenous and they look like they got European in them. They look like light-skinned Native Americans, a lot of Mexicans. Of course, we do have Mexicans who do have African ancestry with stronger DNA, and they live in pockets of Mexico where they look Native and black. Okay, yeah, that exists. But generally speaking, the overall population of Mexico, they have a small amount of African DNA in them. I feel like African American men want the United States to be like that eventually. They want to be in white people, but in 7% or something like that. They don't want people who look like them to continue living. They want to phase out black people. I feel like a lot of black men want the future of black people to be racially ambiguous and then eventually white. A lot of y'all want to bleed into whiteness. A lot of you black men want to bleed your DNA into whiteness and completely phase out your African DNA, just like you see Diana Ross's grandchildren and all these other people who have generationally phased out their African DNA. And it's so funny because, black people be saying like, oh, African DNA is so strong, but it don't look strong to me because in 2 generations, you have a white passing person. You could be a African American dark skinned person, and your grandchild can come out blonde hair and blue eyed and be white passing. So how are your African DNA strong? How are your African genes so strong when in your lifetime you can have a white looking grandchild? So yeah. And a lot of y'all want that. A lot of y'all want that. Y'all think that shit is cute. And then you be seeing motherfuckers on Instagram talking about like, oh, my twin or granddaddy's twin, and the granddad is dark skinned, and then you have the white looking grandchild or the light skinned mixed baby next to the dark skin. Like that does not look like your motherfucking twin. Okay? Stop it. And honestly, I don't think this is going to change. I think this is the unfortunate reality of this country and this world. This is where the world headed. This is the nature of humanity. And unfortunately, Black people have been programmed so severely. It's going to take another 500 or so years to break out of whatever type of programming we're in now. And it seems like in 500 years, African American people are going to be blonde with blue eyes and pale skin and are going to be white, and there aren't going to be that many dark-skinned African Americans left in the next 500 years, it seems, in the path that these black men are headed. And some black women, because, a lot of black women or some black women, even though they don't marry white men um, in the same type of same amount of numbers as black men do, I still side eye interracial relationships. I just can't help it. I side eye it. I side eye it, male or female. I side eye it because white people, y'all just haven't done enough. And the history, I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. And I have yet to meet a white person who genuinely comes off like they give a fuck about Black people. I still have not met a white person or have seen a white person on social media or anything that I genuinely feel actually cares about Black people. I still have not seen it or felt it. And white people collectively have not gotten out here and made a change. It's in their hands. This is their country. For change to happen, white people have to give a fuck about Black people. And collectively, they don't. And you could sleep with all the white women you want to, and have all the mixed children and white passing grandchildren and white great grandchildren you want to, and phase yourself out. But I just wanted to get on here and just talk about that. Talk about how it's just so funny how I see Hispanic men with Hispanic women. Generally speaking, these men are with women who match them, who are their counterpart, who look like them. And these men seek out women who look like them. They grew up being attracted to these women. They grew up desiring these women. And the same thing, I guess, cannot be said about a lot of African American Black men. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. What I wanted to get on here and talk about. Um, there will be more videos coming. This is the first. So other things I see that prompt me to want to talk about, I will be getting on here and discussing. So yeah, you guys, that's my thoughts on this topic. And I'll probably talk more about this as it comes to me. So yeah, see you guys on the next one.